Justina Machado, you star in One Day at a Time, which premiered its second season earlier this year. And interestingly, it's in this new climate where what it means to be Latino in America just seems to have changed since even just last year. Did it feel different making season 2 under the current political climate?
I don't think it felt different. I didn't even think about it because the truth of the matter is these are stories that have always been important in our community, and so I think because of what's going on in the world, it has become more important to maybe other people outside of the community. But absolutely, I was more worried about doing as well as we did the first season. I was more worried about the sophomore year, more than anything, because I knew that it was going to be great. I just was like, wow, it was so great the first season. Let's hope that it stays on that level.
And along those lines, when you start getting those scripts for the second season, is there something that you coming into the second season were hoping for? Is there something that you wanted, or was it just about going along for the ride with you?
It was about going along for the ride because they kept telling me the first season is going to be the second season, the first half is going to be really light, but it's going to be light because then we're going to get into some heavy stuff. So I just had to trust the ride, because the first season was serialized. So we were all like leading up to the quinceañera. The second season, I felt we had a lot of different topics going on, which was awesome. The show grew and it was elevated in another kind of way. And you got to see Penelope be a little sillier, have a little more fun. And then you got the sucker punch, at the end of the second season. So I went along with the ride.
And some of those sucker punches are hit quite hard. Like the one episode where Penelope goes off her meds and has those depression symptoms relapsing. What were you thinking when you read that script, and how did you think about preparing for that emotionally?
I was so excited. I love stuff like that. Are you kidding me? I'm an actress. I get so excited when I see something that I can get into. I think it was not that difficult to prepare for it. I mean, I don't suffer from depression, but I certainly have days where I'm down and I feel like I've got to stay inside and just regroup. But I just think life prepared me for that. I mean, I know a lot of people that suffer from it, and just life and prepared me for it.
And with those, you talk specifically about the second half of the season being much heavier. One Day at a Time is a multicam show shot in front of a studio audience. Does that experience of shooting it in front of a studio audience, particularly when it comes to those heavier scenes, does that feel different than if you've done a lot of single camera shows in your career? Is there a different feeling to doing that?
No, because I've done a lot of theater, so it doesn't feel different to me. It's making them laugh or making them listen. It doesn't feel different. They're listening both times. What's interesting about doing the sitcom and of course they're laughing, they're having a great time in multicam. But when we get serious and when things get serious, you can almost feel the audience move forward, so listening so intently. It didn't feel any different. I don't really think about, I just think about doing a good job. If I do a good job, that's all I think about. I just think about that. I got to get this in. So it doesn't feel different to me. No, not at all.
Well, what's interesting is that, having a multi-camera show, with a live audience, whether or not the subject matter is light or whether it's more serious, you're getting that immediate direct feedback. Does that almost help in a way you figure out how your performance is going, how the story is going, what the audience is picking up on?
Oh my God, it helps. Of course it helps. Absolutely. When something works right away, and when it doesn't, and then you have to go back out there when it doesn't. But the great thing is when it doesn't, we have these incredible writers that have all of these alts, so they run in and they give you something else to say. And usually, sometimes it's not that they just need a minute to catch up, on what's going on, the audience. But yeah, it's interesting. It's immediate gratification. And it's you immediately know what's happening. And also the audience is like part of the show. we feed off of that energy. So we've been lucky to have amazing audiences. It elevates everything having them there.
One of my favorite dynamics, particularly in this season, is the dynamic between Penelope and her children.
Yeah.
You know, she's such a mama bear in the best sense of the word, and to see you with those two actors, you know, Isabella Gomez and Marcel Ruiz, who play your kids, has your relationship with them taken on kind of that motherly dynamic off screen as well as on?
Oh yeah, but I'm like the crazy mommy. I'm more like the, you know, I'm more like the mommy / aunt. They come to me a lot and talk to me a lot about things. And even Marcel's mom says, "Oh my God, I'm so glad that you're around so that you can talk to him about the things that I don't want to talk to him about." So yeah, we have definitely taken that on. And Rita is like a grandmother. I mean, the kids really do call me mom sometimes off and call her abuela. So it's a real family. And we do feel very protective of these kids. And yeah, I even call them my son and daughter all the time. And I have to go, no, I'm my television son, my television daughter. I have to like, because people are like, you don't have kids. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. TV.
And you know, that family dynamic, you know, must make an episode like the season finale when Lydia has a health scare, you know, all the more kind of, you know, hit closer to home as an actor. And you had that scene, you know, beautiful scene by her bedside. What was it like preparing for that one and shooting that one?
Well, we wanted to make sure that we only did it once or twice in front of the audience because it was so heavy. So, and because we are a multicam, we're like, we don't want to kill him with this episode, you know. And also for us too, the actors, it was great. It's really like doing a one-act play. I love theater so much. I love when people are listening. I love when people are engaged. So preparing was not so much tough. You know what was tough was the table read. Everybody was crying so much at that table read that literally the producers were like, guys, we can't do this. You have to pick, we got to pick and choose where we're going to cry, where this is going to be funny, because we were just all bawling because it was all written so beautifully. I think it was also really exciting because you got to see you got to know a character a little bit better with their monologues. So it was exciting for all of us. I would say for me, I was really excited to do it, and preparing was fun. I had a lot of fun preparing for that. Believe it or not, I had a lot of fun preparing for it.
Another aspect that that really just kind of leapt out at me this season was the physical comedy that you got to do, whether it's, you know, the stuff with the getting in and out of the car that breaks down, or the going in, getting locked in that little house where you're trying to hide the boyfriend.
Oh yes! Oh my God, that was funny. I like that.
Do you see those moments in the scripts and just go, yes? Yes,
because I love Lucy. Right. I love Lucy. So when I see those kind of things, yes, I get so excited. Like in the first season when I had to go through the little doggy door, that's so much fun. I love that. I love that screwball, like physical kind of comedy. So yeah, that I always get I love doing it all. I love the fact that Penelope is so layered, and so there's so many aspects to her, and I get to do it all with this character. So it's so much fun.
And you know, your love interest in that second season was played by Edie Quinn, and the show has some fun with the height difference between the two of you. But it's also, you know, a very sweet and you know, tender relationship also between them. What was it like working with him and developing that new relationship for her?
Oh, Ed is great. I mean, it was funny because when he walked into the audition and he walked out, I was like, come on, guys, really? I was like, he's so big. I'm so little. They're like, no, it's going to be great. It's good. I mean, he was great. He was fantastic. Obviously, that's why we cast him. But the height thing, I was a little worried about that. I thought I would look silly, but people really, really liked it. And he's great. You see, he was totally engaged. He's a pro, you know, he's from Two Broke Girls. He was on that for a while, and people love him. He's super handsome. He's very funny. He's the full package. So it was great working with him.
So one of the overarching stories of this season was Penelope going back to school and her struggles with going, and that fact that it wasn't easy. So she's going back to school to be a nurse practitioner. Are we going to see more of her in school, or are we going to go right to her being a nurse practitioner? Where do you see that storyline going?
I think we'll see her in school. I don't think we'll see her going straight to a nurse practitioner, but I don't really know, actually. They kind of give us an overall thing of what the show is going to be. They let us know, they like a skeleton of it. So, like I said, I trust them so much that I'm not sure how much of that we're going to see, but I know we're not going to go straight into her being a nurse practitioner.
And another relationship for Penelope that's been, sort of off and on since the beginning of the series is with her ex-husband, who she has a complex relationship with, to say the least. And he returned in season 2 for a period. Where do you see that relationship going, or where do you hope it's going? Do you actually root for them to get together, or do you think maybe they're better apart?
I don't root for them to get together. I root for them to be great parents. And I root for it to be honest. I mean, for them to get together, they'd have to go through a lot. And the one thing about our show is that it's pretty honest. We're not jumping. We're not tying things up really pretty so that it's just, oh, that was nice. Like the first season, we could have easily tied it up, where Victor comes and dances with the character of Elena. And we didn't, because unfortunately, sometimes that is real life. More often than not, it's real life. So I think for them to get together the third season would be unrealistic for a show like ours. But I definitely think I'd love for them to get along, to reconnect and to become friends again and to be great parents. That's where I'd like to see it go.
Well, one of the things that of course at the heart of the show is the relationship between Penelope and her mother, and between you and Rita Moreno. But one of the additional layers we really got this season was the flashback episodes, where we got to see more of Penelope interacting with her father, the great Tony Plana. Would you like to see more of that interaction? Because you hear a lot, and we've only seen little bits of him so far.
I would love that, because I love Tony Plana, and I love the relationship that Penelope and her father Berto have. I love it, and yes, I would love to see more flashbacks. I think we need more episodes for more flashbacks, but we love Tony, so we always try to find a situation for Tony to come back.
And speaking of flashbacks, there's one in season 2 that goes back to 9/11 when Penelope and her husband decided to go back into military service. So much of her military service has shaped who she is as a character, her emotional issues, and also her strength and her resilience. Do you think we'll ever see more of that directly, like maybe some of her service and maybe flashbacks or in some other context?
I don't know, but I like that idea. That's a good idea. I'm going to sprinkle it around them. That's actually really good. I'd like to see that too. It would be interesting to see more of that. It really would. I'm going to pitch it.
We'll take cash or debit cards.
Right.
So, let's talk about the fact that the third season. The announcement of the third season was kind of a tightrope walk.
Yes, it was.
Those of us, I don't know how it was for you, but for those of us that are fans of the show, it was certainly, like we were crossing everything we could grab practically. Now that it's coming back, when do you guys start? What's the future looking like?
Well, we start actually June 11th, and then pretty much will probably be out around the same time next year, 2019. Yeah. I know, right? Even looking when I said it, I was like, because I didn't even want to wait that long. But we start again June 11th.
Yeah, so for most shows are weekly, and one day at a time. Of course, you shoot the season, and then it all goes up at the same time. What is the schedule like, and how long does it take to shoot a 13-episode season from beginning to end?
Well, I don't know how long. Let me see. I think it's like 3 or 4 months, because we do 3 episodes, then we have a week hiatus so that the writers and the producers can get whatever they have to get together. So we do 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. We literally have 3 to 4 days to learn a whole episode. That's what we do. We have a new schedule this year. So we're starting on a Monday, and then we'll be shooting on that Friday. And that's how we do it. It's gonna be fun.
So one of the things that is I think really so fascinating about this show is that this show shows us a family that oftentimes we don't see, and it's not a question of race; it's just a question of struggle. Mm-hmm. And so do you ever go to the writers and say and pitch them ideas? You know, what do you do when a moment doesn't work for you?
When a moment doesn't work for us, we actually go to them and we talk to them. A perfect example of that was in the first season, the second episode we had about the sexism. The first draft we got, because I don't know if people know about multicam, but scripts change constantly. So we get a new script until we're about to shoot it. So one of the things that didn't sit well with Rita and I was that every single one of us, Elena, me, and Lydia's character, all had the same reaction towards sexism. And so we had to sit down and we said, we really believe that it's generational. So we would have different reactions to certain things. And they were so, I mean, it was the second episode of our first season, and they were so open to it. And that's exactly how it's been. This is a true collaboration. If something doesn't sit right, we actually can go to Mike and Gloria and talk to them about it. And if they say, no, I understand, but this is why you have to do it, then we do it. But most of the time, it's like a beautiful dance. It just all comes together because every single one of us wants it to sit right with us. And I think that's part of the show's success.
What are you most looking forward to in season 3? Like, have you started getting scripts, like full scripts yet? No. So what do you what's on your wish list for Penelope?
I'd love to see, I love the physical comedy. I love that, Daniel, you brought that up because that was a lot of fun to do. Explore different relationship or different relationships or relationships period and just grow just like the second season did. Just expand, just to see a little bit more of everybody's life and what they're doing. I wanted to just be as good as the first and second season. I trust them so much. I'm just waiting to see what they give us to do. That's the wonderful thing about our show, is that it is kind of an everyday person. It's kind of bringing back, I think it kind of brought back the middle class hero. You know, like you root for these people, you go, oh my God, I'd love to be a part of this family. And you don't think about, well, they don't have a lot of money, well, they're struggling. You think about how, what a beautiful, loving family it is, and how not all of us agree on everything, but we all listen to each other. We are all compassionate with each other. And at the end of the day, we all love each other. So I just want the show to continue in those footsteps.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on the first 2 seasons of the show, and best of luck on the third. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.